What's up? So I've been having some issues with my Glock 19 Gen 3 build when used with the Cat Street Crack suppressor. And I'll get into that in a brief moment. But first we're going to go over the components of this firearm in case anybody has any questions about them. So first we have the Norso Reptile EDC slide, Faxon Glock 19 match grade barrel, Trigicon suppressor height night sights, Trigicon RMR Type 2, Grit Grips frame, Overwatch Precision DAT trigger, Surefire X300 Turbo B, Grit Grips aluminum magwell, and the internals are Glock OEM. And quick PSA, if you have a ported barrel or ported recoil compensator or suppressor, you shouldn't be using CCI Blazer brass. Now the issue with CCI Blazer is it's not a true full metal jacket, it's plated. So as you shoot, that bullet is going to travel down the barrel and it's going to shed some of that jacketing. And it can get caught inside your suppressor, turning it into a maraca or potentially damage baffles. I had that issue myself as far as the maraca suppressor, so I had to give it a good bath and blow into it with some canned air, get all that jacket material out. But everything internally is fine, we're still good to go. Now if you look here at the CCI Blazer ammunition box, turn it over. If you look right here, store in a cool, dry environment. Do not use in firearms with ported barrels or ported recoil compensators. And that's not to say this isn't good ammunition. It's fantastic ammunition, it's very affordable, and it's great to train with as long as you're not using any ported barrels, recoil compensators, or suppressors. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's get to the issue I was having with my Glock 19. And the issue I've been having with it as far as cycling with the Cat Street Crack suppressor. I've put maybe 3,000 rounds through this gun. Without the suppressor, everything ran fine, didn't have a single malfunction. But when I put the suppressor on, it has issues cycling subsonics, specifically the CCI Blazer 147 grain, which I shouldn't have been shooting in the first place. So I'm going to describe the issue to you and go ahead and break down the weapon to give you a better description and a visualization of what was happening. Okay, so what was happening is pull the trigger, gun goes bang, the action begins to cycle, but it wouldn't complete the cyclic action. So as this round came up to hit the feed ramp to be chambered, it was striking the feed ramp itself, getting caught right here. Now, another interesting aspect to this was as this round got caught, it would make the magazine eject from the gun. So basically I fire a round, the gun stops and the magazine falls out. And it really put a good dent in these rounds. So I can no longer shoot these. I just kept these for the video just to give you more visual of what was going on, because this was really interesting to me. So what I did was, instead of purchasing a lighter recoil spring or modifying the weapon further, I decided to go with different ammo. So here we are at the range. I have 6 different subsonic loads to see what's going to cycle the best for me. Starting off, we have Cellular and Bellet 150 grain subsonics. So we're going to load the magazine completely with 15 rounds and see if we can get through the magazine and get last round bolt hold open. I've used Cellular and Bellet in my 300 Blackout and I've had fantastic results. Let's see if the 9mm will give me what I need. It'd probably help to put the magazine in the gun. And the magazine fell out. But I'm a sucker for pain, so I'm going to keep trying. Magazine fell out again, so Cellular and Bellet is a fail. Same markings on the bullet that we got with the CCI Blazer. And I know it's not an issue with my magazines or my magazine release. As you can see here, the magazines are being adequately retained inside the firearm. Next up, we have the Speer Lawman 147 grain TMJ, Total Metal Jacket. Same as before, we're going to completely load the magazine with 15 rounds to see if we can get through the magazine and get last round bolt hold open. Success. Let's load another magazine and see if we can repeat that. Excellent. Next up, we have PMC Bronze 147 grain. First magazine was a success. Let's try it again. Good thing I brought that D-lead hand soap. Magazine fell out again. This is so embarrassing. PMC Bronze 147 grain is a fail. Same issue as before with the bullet striking a feed ramp. Moving on, we have Ammo Inc. Stealth 147 grain TMC. Trigger didn't reset. I thought it was just the flat noses, but apparently the round noses have issues also. Ammo Inc. Stealth is a fail. Next up, we have Federal 147 grain Syntech. My girlfriend really liked these, by the way. Cute bullet. So far, so good. These seem promising. Federal 147 grain Syntec, success. And last up we have Federal American Eagle 147 grain. Nice. One more thing I need to clean. Alright, here we have the target from the range. We were about 25, 30 feet out. I'm not exactly sure because the range I was at doesn't have clearly marked distances. They just tell you to push that target past the red line. And this is just to demonstrate the groupings. So here we have the cellular and bellet. Here we have the spear lawman. Here we have the ammo ink stealth. Here we have the PMC bronze. And at this point, my optics started to get really dirty, so I just kind of winged it. Then I decided to lock back in using the Federal Syntec. And then here's the American Eagle. This was my point of aim. This was my point of impact. That's a lot of deviation to be that close to the target. And of course, I always just could have rotated the suppressor on the piston to get the point of impact closer to the point of aim. But the suppressor was hot at that point, and I just really didn't feel like bothering with that considering I wasn't there to get accuracy. I was just there to find out what load will cycle. And my selected load is going to be the Spear Lawman, and seeing the way this groups, I'm quite satisfied with that. So I'm going to be running the Spear Lawman 147 grain TMJ. But just something to keep in mind, just because it didn't work in my firearm doesn't mean it's not going to work in yours. So what I recommend is if you're having issues attaching a suppressor to your firearm, try different ammunitions, see which one works best, and then go with that. Stock up that specific ammunition that works best with your firearm. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.